Hello everyone and welcome to the Cincinnati Legacy Open here on the sideboard. I'm Glenn Jones here with Rob Vaca.
Hello.
Rob, you just finished besting Joe Bernal on camera for your round 3 feature match in
Correct.
Live.
After I said I didn't want to play him because he was playing extirpate to Brian Brundwin, I ended up playing Joe Bernal the next round.
And despite getting extirpated in game 2, you were able to take them.
I did. Luckily people didn't get to see that, so it was fine.
All right, so you're playing, I guess I want to call it show and tell. I don't think the community has quite arrived at what we call this version of the deck. I personally have just been calling it Enter the Infinite.
Yeah, I mean, it's just drawing all your cards. You just want to draw your deck. That's the whole plan.
That's an admirable goal.
Yeah, I think it was Chapin who put, what would a casting cost of a card that said, pay X mana, win the game, and it was 4 blue and 7. That's win the
Pretty
game.
Close. Yeah. So you've got a lot of the conventional show and tell engines here. Like obviously we have show and tell itself, Omniscience, which is started going hand in hand with show and tell, Brainstorm, Ponder, Intuition, and the like. But you've also sort of cobbled in like the Dreamhall / Hivemind engine.
Yeah, the deck was like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. A guy got like top 32. The guy who pile shuffled on camera.
Yeah,
his like a Dreamhall's version, and I'm like, I like the engine, but I think a Hivemind base would probably be better. So that's where this came from, was Hivemind, not Dreamhall, like a Dreamhall's list.
One of the things that's really powerful about Hivemind, obviously, you've got access to like Grim Monolith and Dreamhalls versus Grim Monolith Hivemind, basically the same kind of thing. And you also have plenty of blue cards, including excess combo pieces to fuel your force.
Yeah, and not playing red, like people were play red for like Burning Wish and stuff. Not playing red allows you to just play out your islands and hold Ancient Tomb, not worry about Wasteland, and all your cards are pitchable to Force of Will. So it adds some consistency to the deck, and not have to worry about any disruption from your opponent except for like hand and counter spells, which are much more easily mitigated than mana denial.
Okay, so you've gotten a couple rounds under your belt now. Did you play the deck a lot before the tournament?
Yeah, we tested it probably about 2 weeks with Caleb Durward and Jeremy Stowe.
So what is it you like about this deck versus other options for show and tell? Because there are plenty now.
I get to draw my deck.
that's it?
Casting Enter the Infinite is the draw of the deck for me. It's a little more. I think Sneak and Show and Enter are probably about the best two show and tell decks. I'm not sure which one is better. I beat Sneak and Show round 1. It was real close, but I think being mono blue, I think, was the draw for me for this. Not to worry about Wasteland. I hate having to worry about Wasteland.
That's a very big issue.
Yeah.
Do you think that it has an advantage in show and tell mirrors? You mentioned you beat Sneak and Show. It seems like it could when you can just
because I don't have to show and tell because I can just cast Dreamhalls.
Right.
Like Sneak. That's why I said Sneak and Show is about equal power level because they can just cast Sneak Attack. But I can just cast Dreamhalls and have the same. Even though it's symmetrical, like I'm casting Enter the Infinite off of it, so it's not that symmetrical.
Yeah, it's not exactly breaking even.
Right.
Them. Okay, so when you're playing the deck, what are the matchups you're a little worried about? Beyond Joe Bernal.
Beyond Joe Bernal, Rug is kind of difficult because they play like Mana Denial because half my mana does come from fetches. And the early days Spell Pierce, Force of Will.
Stifle them.
But basically against them, unless they get early clock, like Double Delver, Delver Mongoose, like something quick, I can just not do anything. It's like turn 4, and then usually beat them.
Sure.
Jund, game 1's pretty good for me, but if they take game 1, it can be really difficult. But generally speaking, like a single angle attack doesn't really beat it, like discard or counter spells, because of the redundancy in the deck. But if you attack from both angles, like Esper Stoneblade, I beat twice today, and I'm really surprised by that. And both matches were very difficult. They both went to 3 games, but like I managed to come on top on both of them. Because you can just overrun what they have. So unless they draw a lot of disruption or get a really fast clock, you can overrun it because your combo pieces are so redundant. They deal with one, you go and you get the next one. You just cast Dream, like counter my show and tell, cast Dreamhalls.
Yeah, it really feels like there are 3 axes your opponents are looking for, which is like, the disruption, possibly like some way to react, and also a fast clock. Which that's where Esper.
Because if they don't clock me, I'm just going to rebuild.
Right.
They're just dead.
Hand discard always weak to the top of the deck, and the top of this card, the top of this deck can be very strong.
And there's 12 cantrips and 2 tops to find what you need. So like it's just
sure. So did you change a lot to get to this base, or was this basically where you started?
The biggest change, I wanted a Cunning Wish after seeing the one in Atlanta, because there's just annoying things your opponents can do you don't see game 1 that you can just Cunning Wish and beat them afterwards. Because maybe playing against Tezzeret, they have a main deck Snaring Bridge, so you just get like a Hercules Recall or just wipe away. Main deck Caracas get wiped away. But I really don't want wipe away in my deck because I want a broader answer.
Okay.
The other thing was Hivemind plays 19 lands. In the initial round of testing, that was too many. I was getting flooded a lot. I'm like, I want 18 and a half lands in this deck. So I had a Lotus Petal and something else, and they became Caleb reminded me that Sensei's Dividing Top is a card, and it's been fantastic all day. Probably the best of any of the cantrips. Because like I get it in play, and I can find like multiple times a day I've like topped, set the top of my deck, drew for turn, drew with top, cast Dream Halls 1, like found that blue card that was like 3 cards down, so it would have been waiting like an extra turn. Because I tried Gataxian Probe, that wasn't very good. Because I really just wanted not to have to play 19 lands.
Right.
And top was the best way to do it. Plus Ancient Tomb plus top is fantastic turn.
Good opening, yeah. Especially when it can so easily pave the way for a turn 2 show and tell. It really capitalizes on your fetch lands too. Normally, you're a mono blue deck. You only got Brainstorm to make good use of
it's
them.
7 fetches, 7 basics. So
sure. Okay. I can get behind that. So, do you like the deck as is so far?
My main deck, I would not make many changes or any changes really. Talking to Chris Anderson, who's playing blue-red version of the deck. He mentioned that someone could kill your Omniscience, so Dream Halls, in response to you casting your End of the Infinite, then you're kind of cold. You've tapped out that turn.
Sure.
So the Grim Monoliths may be better as Lotus Petals, which is what he's playing. Because then afterwards you just play 3 Petals, Show and Tell again, and keep going.
Okay.
What my thought was, with Cunning Wish, putting a Quicken in the sideboard. To be able to just quicken, like if they respond, you just quicken and cast something else, like while Omniscience is still in play.
Right.
But in the main deck, maybe Lotus Petals instead of Monoliths. I'm not sure that's correct. But it has added the consistency of being able to Dream Halls, or even just Dream Halls and pay for Spell Pierce, because Spell Pierce is actually one of the best counters against the deck.
As it was against Hive Mind, but for very different reasons.
Right, for very different reasons. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Rob.
Yeah, no problem.
You started off undefeated here in the
Correct.
Legacy Open.
5-0.
Good luck.
How many rounds has it been?
3-0, I think. 3. A little ahead of ourselves. But good luck, and hopefully we'll see you at 5-0 soon.
Yeah, thank you.